boys and girls. This week we've been learning a lot about different kinds of animals that live in the ocean or under the sea. And today, guess what? We're going to be learning some more about some other animals that live in the ocean. This is called Commotion in the Ocean. That rhymes, Commotion in the Ocean. This was written by Giles Andre, so he's the author, and it was illustrated by David Wadowitz, so he drew the pictures. Commotion in the Ocean. Commotion in the ocean. There's a curious commotion at the bottom of the ocean. I think we ought to go and take a look. You'll find every sort of creature that lives beneath the sea swimming through the pages of this book. There are dolphins, whales, and penguins. There are jellyfish and sharks. There's the turtle and the big white polar bear. But can you see behind the wrecks and in between the rocks? Let's take a look and find who's hiding there. Okay? We're going to meet lots of different animals. Some we've already learned about and some we haven't yet. This is the crab. The crab likes walking sideways, and I think the reason why is to make himself look sneaky and pretend that he's a spy. And these are turtles. We crawl up the beach from the water to bury our eggs on dry land. We lay a whole batch, and then when they hatch, they scamper about in the sand. Okay, and these are dolphins. The wonderful thing about dolphins is hearing them trying to speak. It's not how do you do, as I'd say to you. It's more of a click, whistle, squeak. Okay, and this is an angelfish. Hello, I'm the angelfish, darling, the prettiest thing in the sea. What a shame there are no other creatures as gorgeous and lovely as me. And here is a jellyfish. The jellyfish just loves to jiggle, which other fish think is quite dumb. She knows that it's not all that useful, but jiggling's lots of good fun. And you know what that is? That is a shark. I swim with a grin up to greet you. See how my jaws open wide? Why don't you come a bit closer? Please take a good look inside. And those little fish are going, yikes, get me out of here. All right, here we have a swordfish. Okay. I love to chase after small fishes. It keeps me from getting too bored. And then when I start feeling hungry, I skewer a few on my sword. Look at that sharp sword on the end of his body there. And here is an octopus. Having 8 arms can be useful. You may think it looks a bit funny, but it helps me to hold all my children and tickle each one on the tummy. Okay, so that's an octopus. They have 8 arms, or 8 tentacles. Okay, and this is a stingray. At the bottom of the ocean, the stingray flaps his wings, but don't you get too close to him. His tail really stings. And these are lobsters. Never shake hands with a lobster. It isn't a wise thing to do. With a clippity-clap and a snippity-snap, he would snip all your fingers in two. Ooh, that would hurt. That wouldn't be good. This is in the deep, deep, deep sea. Deep sea. Miles below the surface where the water's dark and deep live the most amazing creatures that you could ever meet. There are fish of all descriptions, of every shape and size. Some have giant pointy teeth and great big bulging eyes. Some of them can walk around and balance on their fins. But the strangest fish of all have glowing whiskers on their chins. Look at that. It's like glows in the dark. That's cool. Blue whale. There's no other beast on the planet as big as the giant blue whale. He measures a massive 100 feet long from his head to the tip of his tail. And down here, look at these little things here. These are called barnacles. We're just a bunch of barnacles, and all we do is cling. We know it's not that glamorous, but it's our favorite thing. And these are walruses. Our bodies are covered with blubber, and our tusks are incredibly long. We're grumpy and proud, and we bellow out loud to show that we're mighty and strong. These are penguins. We waddle around on our icebergs, which makes our feet slither and slide. And when we get close to the water, we leap with a splash off the side. And these are polar bears. Deep out in the Arctic, the mommy polar bear snuggles up with all her children, since it's very cold out there. What a lot of creatures we have seen beneath the sea. What a lot of funny things they do. Some of them might lick their lips and eat you in one bite, and some might want to swim around with you. The dolphin's very friendly and the lobster's very fierce, but the shark is the most dangerous by far. Can you name the other friends we've made along the way? See if you can tell me who they are. So again, we learned about lots of more sea animals that live in the ocean. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be doing something called graphing. Okay, so we have this paper here. Okay, this is called ocean graphing. And we see all different ocean animals. We have little green and blue fish here, and these are squid and whales and turtles. There's an octopus. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be counting the pictures in the picture of each different kind of animal, and then we're going to do what we call a graph, and I'm going to show you how we do that. Okay. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer here so we can see. And the first thing we're going to do is let's see on the bottom here. See, what we're doing is we're going to look at these pictures of the animals here, count how many are up in the big picture on the top, and then we're going to color a box for each one that we find. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's look for this green and blue fish. Okay, we're going to see how many green and blue fish we can see up on the top. Okay, you ready to count with me? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 green and blue fish. So I'm going to take my green crayon. You could use whatever color you want, but we're going to start at the bottom. Okay, when we do a graph like this, we start at the bottom. We're going to color one box. So let's count them again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to count 5 boxes. Okay, we'll color one box at a time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we counted 5 green and blue fish, and we colored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. But it's very important that we start at the bottom. Okay, this is a squid. This is the orange squid. Let's see how many orange squid we can find in our picture. You ready to count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4 orange squids, so we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to color 4 boxes. Okay, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 squid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. Okay, our next picture that we're going to look for, what animal is that? That's our whale. All right, let's go back to our pig picture on the top. Let's see how many whales we can find. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we have 4 whales up here, how many boxes should we color? 4. Let's start from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4 whales. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes we colored. All right, the next animal we're looking for is an octopus. Let's see how many we can find in our picture. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 purple octopuses or octopi, and we're going to color 4 boxes. Start from the bottom with your purple crayon. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. We colored 1, 2, 3, 4 on our graph. Okay, the next sea animal we're looking for is a bluefish, a little bluefish. Let's see how many we can find in our picture at the top. 1, 2. Okay, there are 2 little bluefish. Let's take our blue crayon. We start from the bottom and we color 1, 2 boxes. Okay, there was 2 at the top. We colored 2 boxes. And our last little thing that we're going to find, our last sea animal, is a green turtle. Let's see how many turtles we can find in our picture. 1, 2, 3, 4. So take your green crayon and we're going to start from the bottom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's important to start from the bottom, and it's important to do one box at a time and count them. Now let's look at our graph here. Let's look at our graph. Which one goes up the highest? We have our green and blue fish, our orange squid, our blue whale, our purple octopus, our little blue fish, and our green turtle. Which one has the most? Which one goes up the highest? Yes, this green and blue fish, because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green and blue fish. So there was the most green and blue fish. And which one had the fewest or the least, the smallest amount? This little blue fish here is 1, 2. Okay, the green and blue fish had the most, the biggest amount, and this little blue fish had the least or the smallest amount or the fewest, because they only had 2. This one had 5 and that one had 2. And then these, the orange squid, the blue whale, and the green turtle, all had the same amount. They all had 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have our squid, our whale, our octopus, and our turtles all had the same amount. Our little blue fish had the least or the fewest or the smallest amount, and our big green fish had the most or the biggest amount. Okay, so that's one thing we're going to do. The other thing that we're going to do, I'm going to move this one over here. And the other thing we're going to do is this paper here. And on this paper, what we're going to do is we're going to trace our fish. And then we have the word F-I-S-H for fish on the bottom. So I'll put this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my table a little bit closer so you can see as we do this tracing here. Now I'm going to use my black crayon to trace. It's usually a good color to trace with. And what we're going to do is try to go right on the dotted lines. Okay? So you can color, trace around the eye. And these are the little fins here. Okay, go right on the dotted lines, looking at your paper, taking your time. Taking your time. And then we're going to do the rest of our fish the same way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to trace one line at a time, nice and carefully and slowly. Go around. Go around. Okay, we want to do that one whole section there. You can do that. And now we're going to do around the rest of our fish. Okay. Very carefully. You want to go right on the lines. Take your time. Take your time. Look at your paper. You don't want to rush because you want to be able to stay on your dotted lines. Okay? Very carefully. Very carefully. Take your time. Look at your paper. Follow these dotted lines all the way. Whoops, missed that one. All the way around. All the way around. Very carefully. Take your time. You don't want to be in a hurry. Take your time. All right, and now we'll do the rest of the fins down here on the bottom. Very carefully. All right, so there's our fish, and then we can trace our word. And this is F, I, our word fish. And if you want, you can even take your blue crayon and see all these little wavy things around the outside. You can trace these like the water. You can go back, you can take your blue crayon, and you can trace all these little wavy lines back and forth. I'll move this out of the way. Very carefully. Trace all up and down, up and down, up and down. Look at your paper. Take your time. Go all the way across. And you can come down the side over here and do the same thing. Take your time, looking at your paper. Up and down, up and down. Okay, stay on your lines. And down on the bottom, we could do the same thing. Okay, we have a little starfish in the corner there. And you could take your time and trace the rest of your dotted lines. Okay, up and down, up and down, up and down. Take your time, just look at what you're doing, and you could trace your lines. And then what you can do is you can go back and you can color your fish however you want to color it. Okay, you maybe want to make your fish orange, or maybe you want to make your fish blue, or maybe you want to make your fish green. Maybe you want to make your fish rainbow. Okay, so you can make your fish whatever way you want to do it. So just color it and do a really nice job. Okay, so we've been learning a lot about all different kinds of animals that live in the sea.